It's cowboy wearing day.
Yeehaw. Welcome to Rocky Horror Minute, the podcast where we break down the Rocky Horror Picture Show in excruciating detail, 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Leandra,
And I'm your other host, Kelly.
and we are creeping so slowly. Well, not even slowly. We're creeping,
Edging.
edging
Edging toward the finish
toward
line
the
here.
finish line.
Yeah.
Uh, hate that.
Yeah.
It makes me goon.
I think you could describe my recording area as a goon cave. Thoughts?
Um, yes, as
Uh-huh.
somebody who has slept in your goon cave
Oh no,
before.
did you goon in here?
No.
They were staying here as recently as Friday. Or Saturday. Anyway, did you goon in here on Saturday? You have to tell the truth.
Kelly, I'm on antidepressants. I'm not gooning anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If anything, like, antidepressants can help with the gooning process, but I hear you.
So, enough about gooning.
Is it, though?
I mean, yeah. No, keep talking about gooning.
Okay. So, my preferred method of gooning is to use a fleshlight. If I had a dick, but, like, that's what I like to use with others. What about you?
My favorite is it's very niche, and I think
Uh-huh.
maybe you can help me with this. It's when
Okay.
you give a breakdown of what happens in minute 92 of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, okay. 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 Okay.
Okay,
You like that? Okay.
I
I can
like
do
that,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a freaky
Um
bitch.
Oh man, we're normal. Okay. So,
And straight.
you may it's true. You may remember that we ended minute 91 with Rocky sadly caressing the corpse of Frank like an elephant petting his dog friend who he found dead in the woods. So we pick up there. Rocky is continuing to make these mewling noises that he isn't really making, as we discussed. And it's very obvious he's not making them. But he is pulling some great faces, some huge grimaces over the operatic singing. And then he kind of picks Frank's lifeless head up almost in a headlock. And then he kind of screams. He goes, "Aah!" And Brad is kind of holding Janet to his chest and he looks away like he just can't watch. And then we cut back to Riff, who fires the quote laser at Rocky, which is not a laser. We cut back to Rocky. We see he's now standing and holding Frank's limp body in what I think is called a bridal carry, Leandra?
Yep.
Yeah. And the beams like just bounce right off his chest. Then he kind of starts hobbling over to the tower. Riff fires again. The beams bounce off his back. And then he does it again, and they bounce off his shoulder. So then he kind of begins climbing the set that is shaped like a big RKO tower with Frank. He's got Frank draped over his back like it would have been Frank with two arms around his neck from behind, but one of the arms has fallen. So Riff fires again. The beams bounce off of Frank's lifeless body. Rocky looks back very angrily and shakes his fist and does another whoa, like angry ape noise. I'm doing a great impression of these, I know.
Better than Peter Henwood.
That's fair. I mean, Peter Hinwood didn't even make these, so yeah, he picks Frank's arm up and like puts it back over his shoulder. Then he continues climbing. We get a shot like from under them where you can't see their faces. Put a pin in that. And Riff fires again, and the beams hit, I think, Frank's body again. That's what it looks like to me. And then the set starts toppling over slowly. It looks like plywood to me, thin plywood, and they fall, and there's kind of a Tarzan yell as they fall. Rocky's also kind of flailing, going, ah! And they both splash into the pool, and we see Rocky floating face down. Brad says, "Good God." And Janet goes, "You killed them." And Magenta says, "But I thought you liked them." "They liked you." And then Riff begins to yell, "They!" And we'll have to hear the rest of his sad, angry, angsty exclamation next minute.
It's really beautiful. It's so sad.
It is. It actually is kind of it is kind of cute the way they like amped up the melodrama for this. Here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rocky died. Or
I think
I
he
don't
drowned.
understand why or how he died. He drowned instantly?
So here's what I think. What happened
Okay.
was that he didn't get lasered to death. He's proven fairly well that he's impervious to that regardless.
Well, yes, and he is yelling as he falls and flailing his
Yeah.
arms, so we know he was alive after the last laser blast, which also didn't even hit him. It hit Frank's
Right.
body, I think.
So I'm guessing that the shock of just dropping into the pool has like made him go unconscious, and he's not so much dead on impact. I think that he's dead shortly thereafter because he starts breathing water, and that kills people, Kelly.
It does. It's hard for me to imagine that he fell unconscious upon contact with the pool for some reason, but I suppose we can't discount the fact that he may be the product of shoddy workmanship.
Yeah.
So, maybe his poor heart couldn't take it. I don't know. But I can tell you what didn't kill him, which is the laser. So,
Yeah, that is
well,
true.
actually, or whatever we would call that, the antimatter beam. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. If you guys are curious, Richard O'Brien pointed out the exact moment that they switched to a stunt actor. Unsurprisingly, it is the moment where you stop seeing their faces. That shot.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that shot from below where you see just basically their asses from below. That is a pair of stunt actors. Yeah, we mentioned in a previous minute, I think last minute, that it was Tim Curry climbing that set before and that it pissed off the crew members because principal actors aren't supposed to do that. For the record, Richard O'Brien and Patricia Quinn said Tim loved doing it and was having a lot of fun with it, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But don't do that unless you're properly trained and also insured. But anyway, it was a stunt actor at that point. I could swear, and I tried to find it and didn't succeed because I didn't want to watch the whole movie over, but I could swear at a way earlier minute, Richard O'Brien said that the stunt actor for Rocky really took issue with this when he arrived and found out he'd have to be doing the stunt in, like, lingerie.
I kind of remember that, yeah.
Yeah, similar to the way that Meatloaf initially refused to do the show because he wasn't going to wear fishnets and heels, but then got over it because he saw how much the audience loved that moment for Dr. Scott. I guess this stunt actor got over it when he realized how much he needed to pay rent.
I think that's very reasonable.
I do too. Listen, I do this and I don't even get paid, so.
Oh, that's right, I don't pay you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So I do love that you can see not just that they switched when they did the change of the camera shot, but you see that Peter Hinwood is holding Tim Curry, and you see him like walk up, and he's not wearing shoes at all. But then you see once they've switched to the stunt doubles that they're wearing like under the fishnets a sport like nude grippy sock or something.
Okay.
And I love that. Like, there's really no fucking way that Peter Hinwood was like, whoa, if I'm doing this, I gotta get something on my feet so that I don't just immediately slip. So yeah, it would make sense that that would have to be a stunt person.
Yes.
But you did, just based off of the thing that you said last minute, that Tim did his own stunts. I was like, oh my God, is this Peter? How did this happen? Like, that's my direct note.
Peter Hinwood didn't even do his own grunts, so
Yeah.
no, I think this was a case of Tim Curry wasn't supposed to be doing that, but was a lovable scamp and very enthusiastic, and you know how like certain young people, because I think he was quite young when this was filmed, right?
I think so.
His 20s, I think, at least. Anyway, certain young people who are very athletic and kind of acrobatic just be doing shit like that and showing off a little bit. Yeah.
It's not even young people. I was once very recently someplace with Oscar, who is not dead for the purposes of this story. And he saw that there was a stripper pole and just walked over to it and using his brute strength just like jumped onto it and spun like a child like playing on a playground. It was very sweet, but he made it look so difficult. And then he was like, Leandra, you should try this. And I went, no, I'm okay.
This is like how I also recently saw Oscar see a staircase and slide down it without a second thought and get yelled at with his full name by Leandra.
And it wasn't even that I'd like raised my voice. I was like, do you think that it's appropriate that you did that? Do you think that it would be okay if other people did this? And just the
This is when we were getting into our new performance, like backstage space for the first time, and he saw there was a staircase with a banister, and he's like, I know what I'll do, without any thought for how much of a liability that is for everybody, and how many attention whores are on Rocky casts that would try it and die.
what I found shocking was the fact that there are at least some people that were like, oh, if Leandra's going to be upset if I do this, then I shouldn't do it. And I'm like, why is Rocky the only place where that's the logic?
Because it's the only place where you're in charge, baby.
God damn it.
Yep.
So back to this podcast.
Actually, this segues nicely into my next note, because we see a lot of things off to the side of the stage, but when we get that shot where you can see Brad and Janet and Dr. Scott in the corner, one of the things that you see is one of those little dressing mirror with lights. And I love that that is just off stage in the, like, wings, because that is exactly how shadowcasts are set up.
100%.
I was like, this was prophetic, because so many people performing this movie would have almost that exact same setup just out of view of the audience.
What I also love is that I've spent years just kind of seeing that behind and going, oh yeah, so that's backstage. I know what that looks like. And it wasn't until fucking today, as I was rewatching this minute, that I squinted and like behind a ladder and some other just random, this is definitely backstage, like bullshit, there was an entire facade of a series of townhouses. And when I paused it and Mike was in the room, he was like, is that a London street?
Yeah, I
She's
think
like,
so.
what
'Cause
the fuck is this?
it's supposed to be some, like, European city street. There's also a sign, if you look closely, that says cafe. So, yeah, it must just... And I don't think that that is supposed to be there in the Rocky universe. Brian
No.
Thompson, feel free to write in and tell us if we're wrong. I think that that just was
Is that
in
where
the
Magenta
studio.
gets the chickens?
So much could be explained. So, yeah, I think it was just, like, what was backstage there, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I love that I can still find new things in this. And
You know...
we're on minute 92, so yeah.
The real... Because I think there might be a like a matte painting involved. I was trying to squint and see if all of that was really 3D or if some of it was like... But either way, I would love if someone like figured out what movie that was in.
And you don't even need to leave it in a 5-star review. You could email us with that.
You can show up at my house. I am so curious. So get watching, I guess, 20th Century Fox films from the early 70s and let us know.
If we remember, we could even post a picture of that bit in our social media just as a call to action.
If you figure this out, I will post a picture of my taint to our social medias.
No, I'm saying...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Jesus Christ. Why are you constantly pitching showing your taint?
Leandra, just look at it. Come on.
I don't want to. I don't want to see your grundle, your taint, your gooch, whatever the fuck you're calling it.
Oh, man.
So that angelic chorus, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the lens of this being a Western, like, that very much becomes part of it being, like, Western coded. Like, kind of the rising musical vocalizations without any words that you hear in the background of spaghetti westerns. That's definitely this, I think.
I think that is potentially what they were going for.
I think that it's very yeehaw,
Yes.
which means
I
it's
mean,
cowboy wearing day.
it's always cowboy wearing day. I think you could make a pretty good argument for like a lot of this movie fitting into the Western theme. Not all of it, though.
Yeah, I don't know that the hero rides off into the sunset. Not that
No.
you need to, but yeah,
No, not unless the hero is the castle.
it is the castle.
Or I guess maybe Riff and Magenta are riding the castle off into the sunset. Anyway.
I don't know enough about space to determine if the sun would be setting if you leave Earth and the sun is. Yeah, I can't even continue that thought.
Okay. Well,
So I won't. You can't make me.
nor shall I. I do want to talk about something.
I'm ready.
This exchange between Magenta and Riff.
Oh my god. Yeah, I have notes about that for next minute, but let's fucking talk about it now.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would make more sense to talk about it next. Well, I just want to talk about what Magenta says, because it doesn't make
Okay.
any sense to me.
Okay.
But I thought you liked them. They liked you. What?
Yeah, why would that matter?
And well,
And what a fucking gaslighty thing to say. Like, who is they? Like, I don't think that Frankenfurter's using they, them. So.
well, I mean, I think Frankenfurter and Rocky, which Rocky doesn't like anything except boobies.
Rocky likes paste.
Yeah, boobies and human flesh are the two things that he likes. Or he like perhaps
Arguably, you've repeated yourself.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say like you could say that he enjoys human flesh in all of the ways you can enjoy it, but that's about it. He doesn't. I don't think he had any feelings towards Riff Raff except fear. The only interaction,
negative.
Yeah, the only interaction they had was quite negative. So I don't know what the fuck. And then I mean, Frank was beating Riff Raff and not in a nice way, and generally quite rude and mean to him for the literal entire movie. He did, I guess, the last interaction they had was he said that he was grateful for them and they have served him well, but I wouldn't say he liked them or was nice to them. But also, like, Magenta, like, you were there for the whole takeover scene. Why are you surprised now? This was part of your plan.
I feel like surely she's not surprised. She's just a massive cunt.
Yeah, like she's just being sarcastic.
Aw, Beans, why'd you do that? It was your best friend.
Oh yeah, I thought that I'm sure they liked you. For the record, Patricia Quinn delights in these lines. She was so... The whole time it was happening, she's like, I love this. I love this. These new lines they gave me. I love it. It's so good. And she anticipates what's going to happen next minute and says, you're being a sulky git. And I just love it. Saying, of course, that Riff Raff was being a sulky git, which I think is a very fair way to describe it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is my favorite Magenta line to deliver because she goes, I thought you liked them. They liked you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that? It's so good.
It really is like something I could hear and just play back in my brain because of this kind of almost sing-songy way. But I thought you liked them. They liked you. I love it. So we can all agree with Patricia Quinn on this. It's an amazing line.
It's very good.
It's such a silly way to cut that tension as well. Because, like, I think, like, in the type of movie they were spoofing, there would not be dialogue or a reaction. Like, that's pretty much when they would, like, roll the Universal Pictures logo or whatever logo it was. You know what I mean? Like, you'd see, like, them fall, and that would be the end of the movie for all intents and purposes. So it is actually a really funny detail to have the characters be like, what the fuck, you killed them? You know, and everyone react that way. I do think that that's, like, genuinely a very humorous choice and, like, a fun bit of parody.
It is so cool. Like, I guess cool is maybe not the right word. It's so fun to see how happy she is, too. Because you can really tell that she's like, yay, I'm really excited for this bit.
Yeah, that's all my notes. Do you have anything else?
Yes, I have a couple. So, Dr. Scott is really not visible during this whole thing. I feel like I had a memory of seeing Dr. Scott being like sad that this is happening, but looking
Mm,
back, I don't think so. So maybe he's just a sociopath and he's not freaking out about the murders occurring like directly in front of him. He just kind of turns his head from Magenta as she talks to Riff Raff. So, like, it's not really, he doesn't really have the same emotions that Brad and Janet have, certainly. So, like, what is this man? Why? It's just, this is
yeah.
not how normal people react to seeing murder.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Scott, we've established, was probably a Nazi scientist, so there's some
God,
darkness
yeah.
there, I think.
And he's just like, well, that's showbiz, baby.
Yeah, it's true. For the truth.
So the other thing that I wanted to throw out there, it's that there's some very specific magenta blocking in the scene that if you're not kind of thinking ahead, you end up being in a weird spot. During the climbing that Rocky and Frank do up the RKO tower, Magenta transports to the other side of the stage. And you kind of can't do that, at least on our stage at that moment, because then you're blocking Frank and Rocky doing fun stuff.
Hmm.
So there's a callback that I think that you probably have in your notes, but once we get to it, I definitely want to add in kind of where I have Magenta's move during it. And if you are a shadowcaster and this is a similar setup to what we have, which is, just in a theater, like a movie theater, this might help you.
That's true. It helped me, and it can help you too. I actually, since you mentioned shadow casting, I remembered another note I wanted to say.
Sure.
This is gonna be right off the old noggin, but
Going
but
raw, I see.
oh my god, yes, it actually has to do with you, Leandra. I wanted to talk about the very fun way that you like to have a tech person sort of signal the set and.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess we do this for Frank, not Rocky, but we didn't talk about it when Frank fell, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was kind of thinking about how we didn't bring it up, so I'm happy that you're bringing it up.
Yeah, it's something we really like. So, go.
Oh, okay. So this we will transport you back into the minute where Frankenfurter is climbing up the curtain in order to escape from Riff Raff shooting him with this not a laser.
Mhm.
And in our theater, what we do is we have a tech person come out holding, generally, it's just like a cloth handkerchief, just something very, very small, but like a white piece of fabric. And then Frankenfurter pantomimes climbing that. And then once Frank dies, you just very carefully put the napkin over top of Frank's face, and then you bow and you walk away. And just doing the world's smallest bow makes the audience think that this is just the best thing. They always applaud, and then life goes on. So I love that.
Yes, it is. It's very funny. People really like it. Try it, won't you?
But that's all I got.
Okay, well, same. Should we talk about callbacks?
I believe we shall.
Okay, I only have two. But one of them is really, really, really long and iconic, and you already alluded to it. So, let's get started. There is something to say for each laser blast. It is when they hit his chest of steel, and then it's his back of steel, and then shoulder of steel, and then when it hits Frank, I like meat shield of steel, and then as the tower begins to topple, set of cardboard. Pretty funny, and it's really, in my experience, the main or only callback going on in this time. So get into it. But Leandra, how could a Magenta use this callback to her favor?
So I add another bit to this. So it's chest of steel, back of steel, shoulder of steel, and then there's this bit where you don't hear anything going on, there's no shooting, and you just go awkward pause of steel.
Oh.
And during awkward pause of steel, that's when Magenta should cross from stage right to stage left and not fully next to Brad, Janet, and Dr. Scott. I'd say maybe 6 or so feet away from them so that you've got enough space to then move forward to them. But that, to me, is the most convenient time to make that jaunt during awkward pause of steel.
Agreed. Yeah, I always timed it by going after shoulder of steel, which is where that would go. Yeah,
Is good.
it is good. And the other callback, a really good one that I've always loved. I've heard there's other ones that Leandra can go into, but it's right at the end of this minute right before Riff starts yelling, "Go for the Oscar, Riff," and then he does.
It's nice.
Yeah, but that's all I have.
So I have a couple more. So after chest of steel, back of steel, shoulder of steel, awkward pause of steel, I hear it as transvestite of steel.
That too. I've heard both.
Yeah, but after that, when Rocky shakes his fist in kind of anger at getting shot again, you go, "Get your thumb out of my ass and into my mouth." And it's because Frankenfurter's hand is dropped down and it's kind of at butt level, and then he lifts the hand and it goes in front of Rocky's face. So it's kind of at mouth level at that point. And then you can do some sort of airline crash joke as they're falling down.
Yeah.
You know, you've got lots of opportunities for that in this movie. But I like proof positive that the buddy system does not work for when you see the dead bodies in the pool. And you can go, "Buddy, buddy, buddy." It's fun. And then you can say, "Who's Tim Curry?" And then Brad goes, "Good God," which is nice.
Oh, maybe it is "My God."
I have it in my notes as "My God," but I wanted to be consistent within our universe.
That's fair. Then it's definitely "Good God." Listeners, don't write in. You heard it wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
If you have a complaint, you know where to leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's all I got. So, who's driving the house?
Leandra,
Yeah.
will you accept
No.
this photo of my taint?
No.
You
don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So get the. Does this bird belong to you?
Please, listeners, note that she did not say no to the photo. Okay, that's the least enthusiastic yeehaw I've ever heard, but that'll be good.
This is the queerest thing that I've ever heard.